Yang Berhmat Dato Kamarudin Jaafar, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Malaysia. Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Othman Hashim, Chairman of SUHAKAM. Excellencies, esteemed moderators and speakers, my dear UN colleagues, distinguished participants, Selamat Tengah Hari and Salam Sejahtera. On International Women's Day, we commemorate the century-old struggle of women to participate in a society equally with men. And we rededicate ourselves to this effort because, as we all know, there is still a long way to make this a reality. Hence, it is a real pleasure to welcome you to this joint commemoration of International Women's Day 2021 with our esteemed partners, the Ministry for Foreign Affairs and SUHAKAM. COVID-19, the pandemic, has unleashed an unprecedented crisis, threatening to further derail progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals and hitting the world's poorest and vulnerable the hardest. People from all walks of lives have been impacted. The pandemic has revealed fundamental socioeconomic gaps and cleavages, including for the welfare and well-being of women and girls. Despite solid evidence demonstrating the centrality of women and women's empowerment to realizing human rights, reducing poverty, promoting development, and addressing the world's most urgent challenges, gender equality remains an unfulfilled promise. In the COVID-19 world, women are at the forefront of the battle, as frontline and health sector workers, as scientists, doctors and caregivers, yet they still get paid less globally than their male counterparts. Women's full and effective participation and leadership in all areas of life drives progress for everyone. Yet, women are still underrepresented in public life and decision-making, as highlighted in the UN Secretary General's recent report. Women are heads of state or government in 22 countries, that is about 11% of UN member states, and less than 25% of national parliamentarians are women. At the current rate of progress, gender equality among heads of government will take another 130 years. Now, coming to Malaysia, women make up almost half of the population and represent the highest levels of graduates. Malaysia recently had its first female Deputy Prime Minister and Chief Justice. Some positive efforts have taken place to formulate and improve policies for women, and we commend the policy objective of at least 30% women in decision-making in public and private sectors. In creating an enabling legal environment, there has been some measure of progress in Malaysia's legal protection for women in the areas of rape, domestic violence, and sexual harassment. With increased rape penalties, widening of the domestic violence definition, and sexual harassment at the workplace is now unlawful. While we recognize the progress made in Malaysia, there is still a long way to go. The priorities include the strengthening of protection for women under the law, including for women working from home and for women migrant workers. Women's rights with regard to citizenship and marriage, and, of course, decision-making in public and political life. Women are still underrepresented in the very top echelons of the public and corporate sectors, as well as in legislative and political office. Gender mainstreaming across all sectors needs to be improved, and gender-responsive budgeting needs to be institutionalized in the various line ministries and agencies of government. Gender gaps in terms of wages, occupations, job layoffs in the industries need to be addressed. The world needs women at every table where decisions are being made. If this is not the case, debate and decision-making do not represent the diversity of the world we live in and deprive us from a more holistic and insightful perspective on any given decision. Hence, if we are to secure a world where women have an equal future free from stigma, stereotypes and violence, women also must be equal part of decision-making at all levels. Dear friends, today we take the opportunity to reflect and recognize women, reviewing the health, social and economic situation of women in Malaysia in a COVID-19 world and the leadership and commitment needed in ensuring an equal future for women in a post-COVID-19 world. I am confident that today's forum will provide us with an opportunity to not just dialogue, but to influence policy and take action for a more equal and sustainable future. Thank you very much.